Hey, Twitter world, it's me, yours truly. Sorry, I kind of lost my voice. I've gone out the last few nights over the holiday. And
Before O.J. Simpson would become nicknamed the Juice on the football field, but become more famous for his crimes than he ever was as a football player or even as a movie star. Before O.J. Simpson will be acquitted for the murder of his ex-wife and her friend's murder in what would become known as the trial of the century. Before O.J. Simpson would sit down with Kyle and the Nelk Boys just last year to an audience of 4.1 million viewers. Now, most people, they know O.J. Simpson as the man who got away with murder. Robert Kardashian, he famously proclaimed, "If it don't fit, you must acquit."
Doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Now, people also like to speculate if O.J. Simpson is the actual father of Khloe Kardashian due to his close ties to the Kardashian clan and Kris Jenner's adulterous ways. But that's an entirely different story, because today it marks the passing of O.J. Simpson, and the internet's going wild with memes that the juice is no longer loose. So today we're going to take a look back at the life and career of O.J. Simpson, and few know that he was actually the first choice to play the Terminator. That is before Arnold Schwarzenegger was given the role.
True or false, Terminator producers originally wanted you to play the Kyle Reese role, and O.J. Simpson is the Terminator.
Yeah, at one point in time, well, O.J. Simpson, he had the entire world at his fingertips. He was like a Hollywood god, the it guy in Tinseltown. But on June 12, 1994, well, all of this would change when the bodies of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown, and her friend, Ron Goldman, well, they were found stabbed to death outside of her condominium in the Los Angeles Brentwood area. Now, evidence led police to suspect that Simpson was responsible for the murders. In fact, just leading up to this, there was an altercation, a public altercation between him and his ex-wife, where he had threatened to kill her. Now, when the bodies were found, well, from there we got the now infamous Bronco chase, then the trial of the century, and O.J., he was a free man. That is until around 2008, when he got locked up for armed robbery and kidnapping charges. The man would find himself back behind bars, and then, well, he would return to living a life now as a senior citizen, but the allegations that were against him from the past, they would never go away. The man was a senior citizen, still trying to make light of life, but everywhere he went, people were always reminded of his past. Today, on April 11th, 2024, it was announced that O.J. Simpson had passed away after battling cancer, and he was surrounded by his loved ones, I believe, out in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, this has got to be one of the craziest Hollywood stories I've ever told. My name, of course, is Michael McCrudden. This video is Before They Were Gone. Let's get into it.
Nobody does it better than her.
Now, O.J. Simpson was born Orenthal James Simpson, but became known as O.J. for the majority of his life. Now, he was born in San Francisco on July 9th, 1947. Now, his aunt, she bestowed on him the name Orenthal, reportedly inspired by a favorite French actor of hers. Now, at the age of 2, well, Simpson, he developed rickets, resulting in a condition that left him with pigeon-toed and bow-legged tendencies. Now, to address this, well, he had to wear shoes connected by an iron bar for several hours each day until the age of 5. So if you ever wonder where they got that story from for Forrest Gump, well, look no further than O.J. Simpson. Now, following his parents' separation in 1952, well, O.J., he was raised by his mother alongside his brother and his 2 sisters in rugged Potrero Hill District. Now, this was out in San Francisco, and it was primarily inhabited by black residents. Now, at 13 years old, well, he became involved with a gang known as the Persian Warriors, and a skirmish, well, it led to a brief stint at the San Francisco Youth Guidance Center in 1962. That was a bit of foreshadowing of things to come. Now, despite struggling academically, well, O.J. exhibited exceptional talent in football during his time at Galileo High School. Now, after proving himself at the City College of San Francisco, well, he earned a spot at the University of Southern California as a halfback. Now, O.J., he rose to prominence as a 2-time All-American halfback for the USC Trojans, securing NCAA records and clinching the Heisman Trophy in 1968. From there, he joined the Buffalo Bills in 1969. And Simpson's performance, well, it soared when the team, they tailored their offense to highlight his running abilities. From there, he was dubbed the Juice, and he achieved over 1,000 rushing yards for 5 consecutive years from 1972 to 1976. And he led the NFL in rushing 4 times. In 1973, he became the first player to rush for over 2,000 yards in a single season. Now, OJ, he also set the record with 23 touchdowns in 1975 and 273 rushing yards against the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day in 1976. Though they've since been surpassed, still, at the time, he was a force to be reckoned with. He lit up the field like never before, and everyone was mesmerized by his talent. Still, he didn't actually love being in Buffalo. I don't know many people who do. Very close to Canada. They're awful winters. So he's always had his sights on moving to Los Angeles, and soon enough, well, he'd make his way there. Now, following his retirement from football in 1979, OJ pursued successful careers as both a sportscaster and an actor. Now, he ventured into acting during his playing days, notably appearing in the 1974 film The Klansman. Now, he also had a starring role in the Naked Gun series, and he was featured in Hertz rental car commercials. Now, he also worked as a commentator for Monday Night Football with the NFL on NBC. Now, throughout his life, Simpson, he was married twice, and he fathered 5 children. Now, his first marriage was to Margarita L. Whitley, and with that, he produced 3 children, Arnell, Jason, and Aaron. Now, Aaron tragically passed away at the age of 2. Anyway, after divorcing from Marguerite in 1979, OJ, he then wed Nicole Brown in 1985. She was a waitress that had caught his fancy, and the two went on to have 2 children together, Justin and Sydney. Nicole Brown, now known as Brown Simpson, she confided in friends and family about Simpson's alleged physical abuse during their time together. Now, after a well-publicized altercation which happened in 1989, Simpson pleaded no contest to spousal battery. The couple shortly after divorced in 1992. Then on June 12th of 1994, the bodies of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman, they were discovered murdered outside her Los Angeles condo. Simpson, he quickly became the prime suspect, and, he was ordered to surrender. But instead, O.J. Simpson decided to flee, and this sparked a nationwide pursuit that culminated in his arrest in the Santa Ana Freeway, which was famously dubbed as, the Bronco Chase. And because of that, the Ford Bronco eventually got discontinued. Only recently did I pick one up with my wife, and when I was talking to the salesperson, you couldn't mention OJ's name. Seriously, it was bad for the brand. We all remember this. Even if you weren't around for it, it's been made fun of in movies like Shrek. It's just become a part of pop culture. Anyway, now Simpson, he eventually surrendered voluntarily on the evening of June 17th at his Brentwood residence. Yeah, all that time, he was just driving home. Now, despite being found with a gun, his passport, $9,000 in cash, and a disguise, he maintained he wasn't attempting to evade capture. Subsequently, he firmly pleaded absolutely positively 100% not guilty. That is, for the charges of both murders. Now, his criminal trial, known famously as the trial of the century, it started on January 24th, 1995, with opening statements and concluded with his acquittal on October 3rd, 1995. Now, the jury in the Simpsons trial was sequestered for nearly 9 months, setting a record for the longest sequestration in California history. Now, Simpson, he assembled a renowned legal team dubbed the Dream Team, which reportedly cost them $50,000 a day. Now, this team, headed by Johnny Cochran and including prominent figures, including Robert Kardashian, Robert Shapiro, Barry Scheck, Alan Dershowitz, and F. Lee Bailey, they raised doubts about the evidence presented against Simpson, despite strong evidence linking him to the crime. Lead prosecutor Marcia Clark, she presented a compelling case, but Cochran famously dismissed crucial evidence in his closing statements. On October 3rd, 1995, the jury shockingly acquitted Simpson of both murder charges, attracting a staggering 150 million views, making it one of the most watched events in television history. I remember being a child, very young. I must have been 5 or 6, but when the news broke, people were running up and down my school screaming the juice is loose. I mean, even children like me were saying it. This is how much of an effect and impact this had on the world. Subsequently, Simpson, he faced a civil trial where in February of 1997, he was found liable for the wrongful death of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman, and he was ordered to pay $33.5 million in damages to their families. Then in 1999, OJ, he relocated to Florida, partly due to the state law protecting his home from seizure to cover the civil damages. Now, despite his effort to rebuild his life and return to show business, he encountered legal troubles, including a road rage incident in December of 2000, for which he was acquitted in October of the following year. Then in October of 2008, Simpson, he was convicted of armed robbery and kidnapping in a separate incident involving sports memorabilia. Yeah, he was sentenced to up to 33 years in prison with the possibility of parole after 9 years. So there you go. The guy was put in a tough spot. He couldn't pay his bills. He was going broke. He was still famous. He tried to steal back what he believed was rightfully his. But ultimately, he went back to the slammer, or where he should have been in the first place. Regardless, it shows you that, a panther can't change its stripes. You know what I mean? Is that the right terminology? Let's move on. Now, Simpson spent nearly 9 years in prison before being released on parole in 2017.
O.J. Simpson is a free man. The former football star walked out of the Lovelock Correctional Center in Nevada just after midnight. Simpson served 9 years for armed robbery.
Now, in May of 2013, he sought for a new trial, citing poor legal advice during his 2008 trial. Now, despite some convictions being overturned on appeal, he remained incarcerated for related offenses. During a parole hearing in July of 2017, OJ asserted his innocence and expressed remorse for his actions, emphasizing his compliance with prison rules and his desire to reunite with his family upon his release. Now, the parole board, they granted his request, and he was released from Lovelock Correctional Center out in Nevada in October of 2017. Now, following his release from prison, Simpson, he decided to stay in the Las Vegas area, where he was under parole supervision following a 9-year sentence. That's, the one for armed robbery. Then in November of 2017, he got kicked out of the Cosmopolitan Hotel in Las Vegas for, some drunken behavior. Apparently, he broke a bunch of glasses at a hotel bar, and, that was one of his last real public outings. Now, of course, he would pop up on social media, but when that happens, it was always a bad look. People were often poking fun at him, calling out the fact that this man got away with murder, and, his return to the spotlight just never really materialized. He did appear on the Full Send podcast, where he sat down with both Kyle and Steiny. He would also regularly appear on TMZ, but again, the headlines, they were never pretty. It was just today, on April 11, 2024, that O.J. Simpson, his family, they released the following statement. Our father, Untold James Simpson, succumbed to his battle with cancer. He was surrounded by his children and grandchildren. During this time of transition, his family asked that you please respect their wishes for privacy and grace. Now, it's being said that he had been diagnosed with cancer, possibly prostate cancer, just a year prior. He thought he had beat it, but of course, it had beaten him. Now, the internet is currently being flooded with memes, like his ex-wife's family can finally rest that her killer has been, no longer with us. And there's some video footage of him just acting aloof. I posted something to my stories about him, doing this to a news reporter. Very ugly stuff. Regardless, I think it's just a very telling story. You could take a guy out of the gang and put him in Hollywood, but if he isn't rehabilitated and given the keys to everything, they might have those bad tendencies still inside them. I don't know. It's the biggest fall from grace Hollywood's ever seen. The most watched, that's for sure. Anyway, let me know what you think about this. Has there ever been someone that, Aaron Hernandez, that's someone else who comes to mind, an NFL player, but a closeted homosexual and did some really nasty things. It's just crazy to me. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this story. Let me know what you think about the Before They Were Gone videos. Should I do more of them? This is obviously very big news. Yeah, I don't know. He would have been interesting to see in Terminator. He was a pretty good actor. Anyway, lots I could say about this, but I'm just going to wrap it up. I'll see you guys in another video.